asked me if I would come up with my top picks for the genre of scary movies, okay? I gave a lot of thought to this. There's a lot of movies out there that are really good. For most of them, for me, it's a been there, done that kind of thing. I don't like to watch them a second time because they're not really that interesting. They're entertaining, but they're not really that interesting. All of these movies that I have listed here, I have watched them countless times. And every time I watch them, I still get the thrill of the scare. I still feel that neat feeling you get when you're snuggled into the couch and you're munching your popcorn or eating your ice cream and you're watching this scary movie. It's just a cool time. My first pick is King Kong. The original King Kong. The movie stands the test of time. The storyline was good and clean. A movie production company that is on a boat and they're sailing off to a place called Skull Island. On Skull Island they find native inhabitants who worship and make sacrifices to Kong. Kong is this giant ape. What the movie producer wants to do is he wants to capture the giant ape on film, but they end up actually capturing the ape and bringing him back to the States to put him on display. And the only love triangle in this whole movie is the ape falls in love with one of the women. There you go. So they didn't have any of the animation that you have today, but it was revolutionary for its time. And it was very genuine in the feel of the movie. With the newer movies, the CGI takes over so much and that takes away a lot of the thrill. I like the action, the dialogue was snappy. Watch the original. It's better than any of the others that came out following it.
We're millionaires, boys! I'll share it with all of you! Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway! Kong! The eighth wonder of the world!
Second choice is an obscure movie called Them.
I tell you, gentlemen, science has agreed that unless something is done and done quickly, man as the dominant species of life on Earth will be extinct within a year.
Now this is a hard to find one, but when I find it, I do try to watch it because I think it's a really interesting movie. This takes place early to middle 50s. Just on the advent of the nuclear age, okay? There was a nuclear detonation. What it did was it created mutant ants. And these ants were the size of buses. They migrated to the sewer system of Los Angeles. And they created havoc.
We may be witnesses to a biblical prophecy come true.
Of course, the military came out and was shooting all kinds of ordnance at the ants from tanks and cannons and bazookas and everything else. It was kind of like, okay, let's show everybody all the armament we have, let's pour it on these ants, you know. They tried to interject a lot of technical jargon that had to do with the whole nuclear scene. Most of it would be debunked today if you watched it.
Is there any type of gas we could use?
No, we can't take a chance. It might poison the whole city.
I liked it because it was fast moving. There's no real downtime. It just runs right along. It was appropriate for the time with the nuclear age, as I said. I was a young kid when this movie first came out and it captivated my interest. So it always stays in the forefront of my mind when I think about classical horror movies. I always think about Them. Okay, the next movie that I want to talk about is Howard Hawks' The Thing. Okay, not John Carpenter's Thing, The Thing. Not John Carpenter's Thing, you know what I mean? Okay, so not John Carpenter's The Thing, but Howard Hawks' The Thing, the original one. Now this, hands down, is a great horror movie. Spaceship crashes into the ice. Military guys are asked to go up there. Again, this takes place in the 50s. They fly up there. They check it out. Determine that they found a flying saucer. They use thermite bombs to melt the ice. The ship is destroyed, but it throws the occupant loose. The occupant is frozen in ice. They chop him out. They haul him back. And then the monster gets loose, runs amok, and creates havoc. This has every element that you could possibly want in a horror movie. It's got the best dialogue. It's really, really captivating. And what better venue to put on a horror movie than a snowy North Pole? You know, it was a tradition in our household to watch it. I think every Halloween we would watch Howard Hawks' The Thing. The next one, it's called The Hills Have Eyes. Wes Craven did this movie. It's about a family that gets lost in the hills. They're camping. They have a breakdown. They get basically hunted down by these crazy people.
It's mutants.
These mutants, yeah, these crazy people. I thought Wes Craven did a hell of a job with this in terms of showing the tension that goes on with a group of people who are confronted with a force that they have no idea how to contend with. It's full of suspense. It's full of lots of horror that most people today who watch a horror movie will be used to. What I mean by that is there's a lot of blood and guts. It's creepier than hell. It's a very effective dramatization of what can go wrong when you take the wrong turn.
I come back for you later, girlie.
Halloween night. A small American town.
John Carpenter's Halloween, the one that was made in 1979. I'm not talking about the other versions of Halloween, just the original. Scared the living crap out of everybody. Michael Myers is this crazy dude who has a lot of emotional problems and wears a mask of William Shatner. Oh, it's just great. And it's all white, you know, and he goes around and he doesn't say anything. There's no dialogue from this guy. All he does is carries a machete or a knife or something. He just kills people. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and she's one of the heroines, and she's doing some babysitting. And lo and behold, while she's doing the babysitting, what do you think is playing on TV? The Thing. Howard Hawks is The Thing. And then John Carpenter directed the remake of The Thing. Halloween was one of the first movies that Adam's mom and I went to before Adam was born. And we watched this thing in the movie theater, and people were going batshit crazy watching this movie. It was absolutely terrifying. Now, I know by today's standards, it's mild. But by the standards in 1979, that's a while ago, folks, it was terrifying, right? And I remember, I don't know what happened, but this this one woman, maybe late teens, early 20s, she was just having a fit watching this movie. She was screaming and hollering and being horrified by the movie. And some other woman stood up and said, "Shut up, bitch." And the whole theater was just cracking up over this whole thing. It was a lot of fun to watch this movie.
The one, the only, the classic Halloween.
I would be remiss if I eliminated this one or missed it. Amityville Horror.
It's the kind of house they don't build anymore. A relic of a time when the world wasn't in such a hurry.
Amityville Horror is a retelling of an actual true story about a house that was possessed in Amityville, Long Island, New York. One of the individuals becomes possessed by the demon and gets a little weirder and stuff like that, and then it progresses through all the psychoanalyzation of what's wrong with this person and so on and so forth, and then it's finally comes to a resolution that the house is haunted and we need to do something about this, okay? The really neat thing about Amityville Horror is there's a scene in it where they call a priest in to come and cleanse the house, bless the house. And the priest is in one of the rooms and he's blessing the room, flies all over the room, and then a voice comes out of nowhere and it says, "Get out." And the priest basically shits his pants, you know, so to speak, and of course gets out. Now here's the really cool thing. Our last name is Pecoraro. The priest was Father Ralph Pecoraro. He's my cousin. My cousin! My cousin was that guy! It affected him so badly that he left the ministry. And God knows what he's doing now. I don't know.
What happened to them is an experience in terror you will never forget. And you will believe in the Amityville Horror.
The Omen is about this little kid called, his name is Damien, and he has been selected by some demonic force to be, I guess, Satan's disciple. And the carnage that he causes, it's a standout in my mind because it had a lot of originality to it. There's graveyard scenes with Rottweilers chasing people and trying to eat them, and it's really, I'm getting chills just talking about it right now. It's really a creepy show. Put it on your list, The Omen. It's more of a suspenseful horror movie than a horror movie. You know, sometimes the best things in a movie are those things that are kind of left to your imagination. The next one gives me chills just saying the word. The Exorcist. This movie scared the living crap out of me. This was made in 1973. Absolute groundbreaking horror. Everybody talks about Linda Blair and her 360-degree turn, pea soup vomit, and everything else that was shooting out. Timeless. You could watch it today and still have to have an extra pair of underwear around. What I did first with The Exorcist was I heard so much about it that I started to read the book. I had to put the book down, and then I had to put the book away, and then I had to throw the book in the trash. I have to admit, I've only watched The Exorcist maybe once or twice since the original time that I saw it. Now, I saw it in a movie theater, and The Exorcist takes place in Georgetown, Maryland, and I actually saw the movie in Georgetown, Maryland. The movie theater was so packed that I had to sit in the front row. I'm sitting in the front row and I'm looking up at the thing, and it was just an enormous thing in front of me, and it scared the crap out of me. I mean, it really, really did. It's not one that I've seen multiple times because, to be honest with you, it's hard for me to watch that movie. It's a scary movie. Terrifying movie. But you should go watch it. Aliens with an S. Aliens was the bomb for a number of reasons. First off, it showcased Sigourney Weaver as a badass bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch!
And that was cool. That was one of the first times that they actually showed a woman stepping up and holding her own with the guys to fight an evil force. And I thought it was groundbreaking. It was a great idea. Who did this movie, Adam?
James Cameron. James
Cameron did this. It has multiple lizard-type monsters. You know how I feel about lizards and monsters, but the lizard-type monsters that are not impossible to kill. You can kill them. The Space Marines that are out there are actually fighting these things, and they're killing them. They're shooting them. They're able to kill them. The problem is that there's just, you know, a gazillion of them. They just keep on coming. One thing that really annoys me is when you know, you have pulse rifles or whatever you got that you're shooting, and you shoot 1,000,000 rounds into something, and it doesn't stop them. They just keep on coming. That's bullshit. You know, come on, you gotta kill them. You gotta figure out a way to kill them. You know, one way or another. So in the Aliens, they do this. It was a stand-up fight. You were able to kill the aliens, and it showcased Sigourney Weaver, who I think is a great actress and deserves a lot of props for this role that she played. Next on the list is a newer movie made in 2007. It's called 30 Days of Night. This is based on a graphic novel. It is a movie about vampires who appear in a Alaskan town just prior to 30 Days of Night. You know, Alaska has that crazy crazy tilt of the earth where they have perpetual sunlight, perpetual dark. Well, this was 30 Days of Night, and it's a small town. When the 30 Days of Night is coming, a lot of the people kind of leave. This is so well put together and so creepy. The makeup and the way they made these vampires look, holy cow, unfriggin' believable. Very, very, very convincing that this is something that is plausible and scary as hell. The way the movie progresses is ghost ship is coming, and there's this one guy who wants to become part of the vampire crowd, and he's just really yucky looking, and they throw him in jail because they think he's a crazy guy. But anyhow, the vampires come, they start to ravage the town. They just tear into the people, and Josh Hartnett, who plays the sheriff in this thing, organizes a whole bunch of people to fight back. They do what they can, but slowly but surely they're all becoming consumed by the virus of vampirism, right? They never really defeat the vampires. A few people that are in the town manage to survive. It was really makeup, and it was the storyline and the fact that it was in Arctic. So it was snow, and it was dark, and it was creepy, and it really grabbed your attention.
Look at me. Look.
Okay, we're coming down to it now. Salem's Lot is the next one on the list. This was filmed in 1979. Seems like everything that was pretty cool was filmed in the 70s and maybe the early 80s. It's kind of missed the 60s. They didn't have any horror movies in the 60s that were worth a fat baby's ass. Salem's Lot with David Soul in it is a 3-hour movie, okay? But Salem's Lot is creepier than all get out. It's got floating vampires tapping on windows. It's got guys in rocking chairs doing crazy stuff. And the master is one hell of a scary dude when he finally appears. It's a terrific movie that'll get your heart pumping. So Salem's Lot is another one that's on my list, and I think that you should go see that one.
You can do nothing against the master.
Okay, last but not least, I have to pay tribute to Fabulous 5 Universal horror movies, the set of horror movies. I got models of them here. You got Dracula, you got the Wolfman, you got Frankenstein, you got the Mummy, and of course you got Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Universal Studios monsters were creative. They weren't believable, but they were fun to watch, and it was entertaining, and it was something that I think if you watch it today, you can appreciate the film work, the professionalism, the acting, the dialogue, the set production, everything that went into making these movies work. Mind you, these were done in the 1930s, so it was a long time ago that they were put out, and they're timeless to today. People still watch them to this day, and they're very, very popular. These were the forerunners of everything that was to come. They were great movies. The characters, the main characters being the monsters, became iconic. I mean, Dracula, everybody knows who Dracula is. Wolfman, everybody knows who Wolfman is. The Mummy was cool. I used to love watching The Mummy because he'd be chasing people, and the people are sprinting like they're Olympic runners, and he's walking with the hand out and dragging a foot, and he's always 3 feet behind them. You know, miraculously, he always catches up. It wasn't so much scary as it was fun. It was fun to watch these. Just the actors interacting with each other and the environment and creating drama and horror. And they did a hell of a job. You know, I used to watch them with my sister late at night. There was this show called Zachary that would come on, and he would always feature these particular shows, and he would insert himself somehow into the movie. We'd always look for where is Zachary gonna pop up in the movie, and it was funny as hell to watch this guy do his thing. That basically concludes my list. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Enjoy the day, stay safe, watch monster movies, and catch you next time.